Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein. We're here on a beautiful sunny day on our rooftop studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is Joseph Gitler. He is the founder and chairman of Leket. Joseph, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joseph, tell our viewers a little bit about what is Leket.
So Leket is actually a biblical commandment where we were commanded to take care of the poor in ancient times. Farmers who were ancient businessmen needed to set aside a portion of their field, leave in the fields what fell off their wagon, and we've taken this ancient biblical precept and modernized it for today's times, where those of us who are fortunate enough to live in the West waste food with abandon, while at the same time we still have those struggling to put food on the table.
Like when you think of Israel, you think of a rich, powerful country. Are there really people who are going hungry, who need the food that are left on the wayside?
Sadly, in all Western countries, this seems to be our lot. And here in Israel, even though we are in the land of milk and honey, there are those who have not been able to keep up with the explosive and dynamic and frankly beautiful growth of the country. And it's still imperative on us that we find solutions to taking care of them.
You know, there's a lot of buzz about Leket. People talk about it all the time because it's something that actually works. People are using it, it's working, it's helping the poor. What's the system? How do you actually feed the poor through the waste that's being left?
So we collect food in partnership with all different types of food donors. We work closely with the farming community to gather excess crops that aren't going to market. We work closely with the hotel industry, with the Israeli army, caterers, restaurants, and manufacturers to make sure that all this perfectly good, healthy, nutritious, edible food that hasn't made it to the marketplace ends up in the hands of those who need it. And those who need it vary from those in women's shelters, homeless shelters, Holocaust survivors, children at risk, all types of the sad circumstances that we hear about on a daily basis.
It seems like a massive operation. What kind of volunteer program do you have to be able to do this type of stuff?
So it is a big operation. We have over 100 employees, and I'm happy to say over 50,000 volunteers on a yearly basis working together with us in the fields, gathering fruits and vegetables, and even going to the lengths of picking up food in their own cars at 1 or 2 in the morning to transport to places that feed the poor. Mega operation, but mega results as well.
Most of our viewers today are Bible-believing Christians, people who watch the show, who love Israel. How can they get involved with the mission of Leket?
Okay, so lots of ways. First off, when they come to Israel, we would love to see you in the fields. There's nothing more powerful for me than seeing Christian groups in the fields connecting with the land. As a Jewish person, it's fantastic to see, and it's been one of the highlights of my years since I founded Leket. Second, this does cost money to run, so any type of support that those watching are able to provide is appreciated, and I know we will put it to excellent use.
You were honored by Nefesh B'Nefesh, the organization that brings new immigrants from the United States to Israel. How does it feel as someone who moved to Israel to have such an impact in the land of Israel?
Well, it's been an honor, first of all, to be honored by Nefesh B'Nefesh, and it's such a powerful statement to see people who've come here, and certainly people who come from countries like the United States, who've come on their own free will. No one has to leave the U.S. There's no good reason to leave the U.S. But to come here as a Jew and fulfill that commandment, that dream of thousands of years, and then not just to come here, but to be able to make a big difference in the lives of so many is truly something special. So for me, it was a special day. I had my parents there, my late father. It was his last trip to Israel, so it was a very, very special day in hindsight when I think about it. Thanks for asking about it.
You know, you're basically fulfilling the commandment of gleaning. How does it feel to be, fulfilling biblical prophecy here in the land of Israel?
So I think what I've been really specially blessed with is the opportunity, I think, to bring back 2 commandments that we seem to have forgotten. One, Leket, the gleaning opportunity, is something that actually went dormant after the destruction of the temple. So we've brought back a commandment that hasn't been followed in any way for thousands of years. And then another commandment that all of us seem to have forgotten, and that of Bal Tashchit, not wasting, which Western society, with our success, seems to have forgotten. So Leket, very simply, is an organization that puts together an ancient commandment of gleaning together with not wasting, and allows us to feed over 200,000 needy Israelis every week.
Joseph, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
So my message is continue to help us grow this organization. We have massive waste that we're still not able to get to, because we don't have the resources. I would love to say to the viewers, in a couple of years from now, we're not feeding 200,000 people a week, we're feeding 500,000 people a week. That's a dream, that's what drives me every day, and hopefully will drive us all together to take care of those in need.
Thank you, Joseph, for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.